You know, Les, there's always a lot of stuff going on at LSU. I mean, where else in all of college baseball do you have, what is there, 10 of you, more? Dozen media representatives at practice. I mean, this is LSU. There's always a lot of things going on here. I don't call them distractions. I just call them attention. You know, it's just what it is. You know, there's a lot of fans. There's a lot of media coverage. There's a lot of uh, things that happen to, you know, for the dog and pony show, so to speak. You know, there's a lot of people being honored, teams being honored, fields being named, um, first pitch honorees. This is very constant. We salute our soldiers on a regular basis. So our players are really good at being able to focus on playing baseball at the appropriate time. And yet they understand their responsibility as well to be men of the public, men of the people. You know, they interact with the fans, they sign autographs. You know, it's really an amazing group of kids. You know, I don't know if you've seen, you know, after games, sometimes a little boy in a wheelchair, George Wood, and Mason Katz and Alex Bregman go to his Miracle League games over at Cypress Mounds. You know, I think our players understand the responsibility of being a baseball player, or the coaches understand the responsibility of being a coach here, that it goes even beyond what you do between the white lines. And so when they have that kind of mindset, I don't think they get distracted very easily by all the other stuff. And that's good, because, you know, if we're fortunate enough to go to Omaha, there's a lot of stuff going on there too. And you like them to be able to separate that from focusing when the time is right to focus on baseball.
Is one of the key things this weekend seeing how Kurt bounces back from that last start?
Yeah, I'm not expecting Kurt to go out there and pitch 7 innings. So I'll be happy if Kurt gives us 3 good ones, and then we use the rest of the bullpen. If he's pitching very effectively, I may extend him beyond 3. I'm not really going into it with a plan on restricting him, and I'm not going in there with some expectations either. I wanted to have a game where we treated it like a midweek game, you know, where we used a lot of bullpen guys. But I just thought we'd give Kurt the start because he's used to starting, and if he's pitching effectively, he can extend. But I'm not going to go into it with the expectation he's going to give us 5 to 7 innings, similar to how I didn't expect Hunter Newman to do that last night, but hope that he would.
Kurt Chris McGee a couple of weeks ago paid you a big compliment in the sense that late in the season you're still looking at guys who may not have done much of anything for you during the season. Is that something that's communicated? Do all the guys know that they still figure in, you know, to an at-bat or a moment, or do you kind of have to remind them or encourage them?
Steve, I met yesterday with Tyler Moore. I met yesterday with Chris Chambra, and I've told those guys how vital they are to our team. They have been before, and they may still yet to be. How do you know Tyler Moore's not going to step up in a critical situation and come through with a bases loaded double when we need it the most? How do we know that Chris Chambra isn't going to have to fill in for somebody after somebody sprains an ankle and needs to make a great catch in the outfield? You have to have your players ready. And I've said this many, many times, that if they're wearing a uniform, that means I have confidence in them and their ability to play. You know, everybody wants to play all the time. Not everybody gets to play all the time. But I think it's my job to keep them ready in case we need them. Look at the other day. Ty Ross leads off the extra innings with a double. So what do? Leave Ty Ross out there to run? He's not a swift runner. I think everybody probably knows that. If Ty Ross had a race with a pregnant woman, I'm certain he would finish in 3rd place, okay? So here we are in the extra innings, and we need a runner. Well, it ends up working out. We score the run. Well, now I got to put Christian Aya in there to catch at a time when it's as pressurized a situation as possible. You've got your closer on the mound, Chris Cotton, a 1-run lead at Texas A&M, the SEC West title at stake. I have to have confidence that Christian Aya can go in there and catch. How can you have confidence in him if you don't use them and keep them on their toes, knowing that they can be used at any time? So I like to take pride in the fact that we manage the entire roster. For players on our team, I expect them to be ready to play at a moment's notice.
Coach, do you think Cody's kind of turned the corner on his season, and what do you see his role on the team moving
Cody
forward?
Glenn?
Yeah.
Oh, well, Cody has pitched magnificently for most of the year, really, Lou. He's had a couple of subpar performances, and when he before he has really established himself, you don't know if those bumps in the road are just bumps in the road, or or as an aberration. Say that again. You don't know if it's an aberration and just a bump in the road, or if is he a guy that you can really count on for consistency. But as each passing outing goes, you start to think that the good outings are more the norm than the bad outings. And I think that's what he's done for the last month or so. He's pitched, four really good outings in a row, and he's gaining a lot of the coach's confidence with each passing outing. So he's going to pitch game 2 at the SEC tournament. Hey, listen, if Nova got beat on Wednesday, Glenn's got the responsibility of keeping us alive in the tournament in order for Eads to get a start. That's a lot of confidence that we're showing in him. He's starting the opening game tomorrow night against, a really good pitcher for Ole Miss and this Myers boy. So, we have a lot of confidence in him, and I think he's continued to improve. I think the work that Alan Dunn has done with him has been unbelievable, and he's become a legitimate starting pitcher in the SEC. And if you can win in the SEC, you can beat anybody in the country.
I know